managed over $10 million in e-commerce revenue in the last 12 months. A lot of that has been through meta ads. So in this video, I'm going to show you how to set up custom audiences, which are going to allow you to hit every single level of the funnel. Wherever somebody's at during the buyer's journey, we're going to hit them today. Not going to waste any of your time. Let's jump into this. Also, please like and subscribe. Every single like and subscription, I'm going to take my dog on a walk, give him a treat, whatever you want. Each like equals one pepperoni or equals one Zook's treat. I don't know.
What?
Plus, it makes my mom proud. Let's get into this.
All right, without further ado, I am in Meta Ads Manager now. What you're going to do is you're going to navigate to this left sidebar over here, and you're going to click on Audiences. Now, I have a list of audiences that I'm going to build, and those audiences are going to be for each level of the funnel. So you have your top of funnel audience, lookalikes, and these are all going to be custom audiences. So for top of funnel, broad or interest-based targeting would be a lookalike as well, but those are all set up when you're setting up the ad set. It's not necessarily a custom audience. We have top of funnel, we have your middle of funnel, and we have your bottom of funnel. So I'm going to go through all these and show you how to build each one of them. I'm not going to do every single variation, but I'm going to show you at a basic level. So you're going to create audience, and since we're starting with the lookalike, you're going to click lookalike audience. Now under the lookalike audience, your source is going to be whatever your pixel is. So this is the Salka search pixel, for example. Now this is not an e-commerce store, but I'm doing this as assuming that you're an e-commerce brand. It doesn't necessarily apply to just e-commerce, but for this lookalike, it's going to be a purchase-based lookalike. You're going to select purchase, and then you're going to select the location that you want your audience to be within. And then you're going to select your percentage. So now what a lookalike percentage means is it's essentially a similarity percentage. So if you're doing a 1% lookalike, that's going to be a lookalike that is most similar to past purchasers, for example, in this instance. The more you broaden this out to 2%, 3%, 4%, 5%, etc., it gets broader and broader. So that lookalike is going to be less and less close to the actual type of person that you're looking to target. A lower percentage is more relevant, but a lower percentage also has a smaller audience. So you can see the 1% is 2.8 million, 5% is 14 million. So that's a pretty drastic difference. But like I said, the more you expand outwards, the less relevant that audience is going to be. What I would do is I would create a 1%, a 2%, a 3%, a 4%, and a 5%. But for this instance, I'm just going to create the 1%. And since I don't have any data in this account, it's not going to let me create it, but that would be your 1% audience. It would name it automatically for you. Now for your middle of funnel, this is going to be video viewers to start. So you go to create audience again, custom audience. You would do meta sources, which would be video. So this would be engagers on videos on your account. The engagement would be people who have viewed at least 25% of your video. Audience retention period, I would typically do like 180 days. You could do 365 if you want, but I'll do 180 days for the sake of this video. Then the audience name, I would say VV, 25%, 180 days. And you do actually have to select the videos within your account that'll be based off. So I'm just going to select some random videos that are on my agency's Facebook account. Confirm. That's how you create that. And now if you wanted to create this for 50%, 75%, you would do the same thing. Create audience, be a video, next. Engagement type would be 50%, and then you can keep going from there. You can create another one for 50%, 75%, 95%, formatted the exact same way. And then you can add those to your ad sets. Next would be your Facebook and your Instagram engagers. So I'll go to create audience. Once again, you're going to do a custom audience. So for Instagram engagers, you would click Instagram account. For Facebook engagers, you would click Facebook page. So we could just do Facebook page. What you would do is everyone who engaged with your page, that's fine. We could do 180 days. You can do 365 days. For the sake of this, I'm going to do 180 days, but it would be, I'll just do FB engagers, 180 days, and create that audience. And then I would do the same thing for Instagram. Search. Then you would do 180 days again. And since this is IG, I would do IG engagers. 180 days. Create that audience. And what you could also do is website visitors. already do have a website visitor in here, but I'll show you how to set it up. Once again, a custom audience, but in this case, your source is going to be the website. You would just do all website visitors. You could also do people who visited a specific page. So if you have a particular product and you're trying to retarget people who have visited a particular product page, you could also do people who visited specific web pages and put that URL in there. But for the sake of this, I'm just going to do all website visitors. We'll just do 180 days. I would do 30, 60, 90, and 180. But I would just do website visitors. You could also do WV. And create that. And you would do the same for all those other ones. And then you could also do an email list. So when you click custom audience, you also have the ability to upload a customer list. I don't have a list to upload. It'll give you the specs of what the format of the spreadsheet needs to be when you upload it, to be a CSV or a TXT file. But this would essentially allow you to take maybe your email subscribers, things like that, to upload them to Meta and retarget that list. Maybe you have email subscribers, people who are subscribed but haven't purchased the product from you, and then you want to retarget them with ads on Facebook or Instagram. Your bottom of funnel, create audience, custom audience. You're also going to do website here. And now since mine is not an e-commerce site, it's not going to show up here, I don't think. So when you click this events dropdown, if this was an e-commerce site and this was an e-commerce pixel, which you should already have set up on your website, all other events would show up when you click this events. Add to carts, initiate checkouts, view content, purchases, etc. So you would click that events dropdown, you'd find add to cart. You could do 180 days. You could do I'll typically do all these 7, 14, 30, 60, 90, 180, etc. So we can just say 7 days for the sake of this. Assume that this is your add to carts. I would do ATC, 7 days, and then go from there. What you can also do is your past purchasers. Once again, this is not an e-commerce site, so I don't exactly have the ability to do that. But you click website, and then under this events dropdown, purchase would also come up. And then you can do 180 days or however many days you want to do, and then do purchase 180 days and create that audience. Now that you know how to set up all of these, I would recommend going through and doing this. You could do some of your own research to figure out what are maybe some other custom audiences that you want to create, but these are like the bare minimums that I would do, especially if you're an e-commerce store. And next, I'm going to show you how to incorporate these into an ad set. Okay, how to set these up in actual campaigns. I'm going to make this as easy to understand as possible and not complicate it. There's a lot of ways you can customize this. What I would do is click create. We're going to assume this is an e-commerce store. If it's leads, you can also do this too, or any other type of campaign. We're going to go to sales. Targeting is set at the ad set level. So obviously you're going to set up your campaign, give it a name, give it a budget. You are going to make sure you're going to have the budget set at the ad set level. And we're going to jump into the first ad set. Now the assumption is that you've already tested creatives. And then we're going to take those creatives from a creative testing campaign, which would just be on broad, and then moving them over to this type of campaign. You could initially just test the creatives in this campaign in the broad ad set and then go from there. But basically what you're going to do is down here under audience, to make sure that we only target a specific audience, you are going to want to click this further limit the reach of your ads. For the sake of broad is literally just this. We would create it and leave it exactly how it is, not making any changes. Obviously, we want to make sure we're targeting the right locations. That would be broad. If I click this further limit the reach of your ads and switch the setup, I would then add detailed targeting. So like I said, a top of funnel campaign also includes interests. Interests is top of funnel. So you would put interests in here based on whatever your audience is, whatever you think your audience would be interested in. Could be sports teams, or could be fitness, or whatever it may be, whatever industry you're in. You'll add detailed targeting in there. If you're going to use multiple interests, I would call it, in the naming convention, stacked interests. You are going to want to make sure in your naming convention you are noting if it's broad, or if it's lookalike, or if it's interests. Your naming convention is going to be unique to you. But if I were to do a lookalike, you would click custom audiences, and then you can click a lookalike audience, and then your lookalike audiences would show up in there, and then from there you can target your lookalike audiences. So I do have this LAL 1%. That's an example, but since this is not a real account. This is the Sulka Search account that I haven't run ads on before. This isn't showing up. But if you go to lookalikes, your lookalikes that you created will show up in there. But they do have to populate first. So you can't create them and then automatically just go and start setting up campaigns. You do have to give them time to populate, which could take a little bit of time. Could take an hour, could take 24 hours. It really just depends. So that's how you would add a lookalike. When you're using the lookalike, like I said, you would want to make sure to note that that ad set is for lookalikes. So for your middle of funnel campaigns, also make sure you're using your naming conventions accordingly. But our middle of funnel is your video viewers, your Facebook engagers, your website visitors. And we put these each in their own ad set, testing creatives within those to see which of these audiences perform the best with the creatives. So what you can do down here, same thing. Under audience, we're still in the ad set level. You could add in your custom audiences once again. When you add in your custom audiences, you'll search for existing audiences, and those will also show up. You can do your video viewers, your FB and IG engagers, your website visitors, etc. Let's just say we're doing the Facebook engagers. We'll say, name the ad set FB engagers, 180 days. You want to make sure the ad set name is correlated with whatever audience you're putting in that ad set. So when you create that, then you could just duplicate it. You would click duplicate, and then you can do another audience. So it will duplicate the creatives. Now basically you're testing the same creatives to a different audience. So you go down here once again to audience, and you'll be able to change this out to your Instagram engagers. Cool. So now you have your Instagram engagers. IG engagers. You're going to want to do this for your top of funnel too. Make sure you're duplicating so that you can have separate ad sets for each one of these audiences. So now we can do video viewers as well. Under custom audiences, same thing. You get your video viewers. So you name it in accordance to that. In this example, you could stack your video viewer audiences. So you could put video viewers 25%. Then you could find another existing audience. It's not populated yet, but you'd be able to find the one that I just created, video viewers 50%, 75%, 95%, and then I would name it VV 25 to 95%. And then what I do, 180 days. And then you can duplicate it again. And then you could do for your email list as well. But now the most important thing is that you know where to find the targeting. So you'll go in here under custom audiences. And you can do your website visitors. Name the audience once again, website visitors. And name the ad set once again, and then go from there. So what I recommend doing is setting up one, getting all your creatives within it, and then doing the duplication process and switching out the audience. Another nuance is when you're setting up custom audiences, Meta, if you don't uncheck this use as a suggestion box, Meta will basically just turn it into a broad audience. It'll take your input as a suggestion and then it'll reach beyond that. So when we are explicitly targeting these custom audiences, we want to uncheck that box so that we only target the people who are within that audience. And you're going to see this audience definition over here. Since this is in the Sulka Search account, like I said, it's going to understand that there isn't anybody within that website visitor 30-day audience, which says this is narrow. You do kind of want to keep an eye on this, especially since this is 30 days. If this says it's too narrow, your cost per 1,000 impressions, your CPM could go up. It might be beneficial to do a website visitors 180 days because that would broaden the audience a little bit because there'd be more people within that. And then essentially for bottom of funnel, you're going to do the exact same thing. So you would have a separate campaign for this, separate campaign for top of funnel, separate campaign for middle of funnel, separate campaign for bottom of funnel. So I'll just go here. We'll close that out. We'll just say I'm going to create another campaign. You can just, we'll say this is just bottom of funnel. And then in the ad set level, once again, we're adding in the ads that we're testing at the bottom of the funnel. And then once we have those ads in there, we're going to create different ad sets for these different audiences. So we could say ATC, 180 days. We'll go down here to make sure to click further limit the reach of your ads, and then we'll add the custom audiences in here. So ETC, and like I said, these haven't populated yet, so it won't show up. But under here, you would find that add to cart audience, and then you would name it accordingly. Once you click it, you're going to want to make sure that you uncheck the use as suggestion box. But that's how you create your top of funnel, middle of funnel, and bottom of funnel campaigns. I understand that this isn't like a super in-depth showing of what ads go where or how exactly to do this completely, but it just to give you an idea of how to set up these audiences, add them to actual campaigns at each level of the funnel, and what each level of the funnel audiences look like. I hope this helped you. If it did, like, subscribe, do all those things. It makes my mom happy, it makes my fiance proud, and then it just really warms my heart. It takes me from the Grinch into a real member of Whoville. I don't know. Go build some audiences that actually convert and stop listening to me.